2007, there was a case Eldridge and there was a case Stoffman. So what's the reason, computer guys, what's the reason why Eldridge was bound by the charter, why Stoffman was not bound by the charter?
There was no substantial degree of government control.
No, there was no issue with substantial degree of government control. That was only established in Douglas versus Douglas. Substantial degree of government involvement was, there was no issue. In hospital, if there was a government policy and program, if there was a government policy and program, if there was a government policy and program, and if you will not gonna follow that policy, charter would apply. If there was a government policy and program, you will see in exam, clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4. I'm just giving you example. Whenever you're going to read the exam question, you will see clause 4. There was a government policy and program for deaf person. But in a facts pattern, they are not implementing that government policy and program. It means if there was a government policy, if you are not implementing that policy, again charter apply. For example, guys, for example, I am owner of the house. I am owner of the house. I have a basement. I have a basement. Okay. So I'm going to rent my basement. I'm going to rent you my basement. So there was only one exit. There was only one exit. Okay. And you are living in a basement. So, and something happen, if you're going to start prayer, if you're going to start something happen, I'm going to say, you know what, get out from my basement. I'm going to kick out from your basement. You are all the time, you are praying, you are all the time preach or whatever, using your freedom of religion. I'm not gonna accept you. Leave my house. You are step out, very upset because you start praying. So I'm owner of the house. No, you cannot say, because you are Hindu, you are Sikh, you are Muslim. I'm not gonna, because you are too much religion, so religious person, get out from my house. So he was very upset, came to your office. You all people are constitutional lawyer. You have to write a memorandum for that person. So first question, whether charter apply to the body, rule, cut, copy, paste, application within the criteria of McKinney versus University of Gulf, private office. It was Aamer office. Aamer house is a private office. Private house. Charter does not apply. Now, I had only one exit. Before I'm going to rent the basement, it's a government policy. Do you know what policy is? There should be two exits. There was a government policy before you're going to rent your basement. In a commercial level, there must be two exits. But in a given scenario, only one exit. What's that mean? There was a government policy and program. There was a government policy and program. Aamer is not implementing that government policy and program. Charter apply to the Aamer house. There is a second exception. What happened? Stoffman. What happened Douglas versus Douglas? Oh, no, Stoffman, or what happened in Eldridge? In Eldridge Hospital was bound by the charter. Why? Because there was a government policy for deaf person. If you're going to read Eldridge, there was a policy for the deaf person. There was a policy for deaf person, but that hospital was not implementing that policy. You got it? If you are not implementing that policy, okay, it means deaf person, I'm a disabled. Okay, so I was very upset. So question is whether charter apply to the hospital, rule, cut, copy, paste, application. It was held to be a private body. Charter doesn't apply, but in a given scenario, within the criteria of Eldridge, because in a given scenario, there was a government policy and program. There was a government policy and program for deaf person, and they are not implementing that government policy and program. Conclusion is charter apply to the body. There are two: rule, cut, copy, paste, application, rule apply into the application. You cannot change the rule. Whatever rule applying to the application.
May I ask a question? If they would have been following that policy for deaf persons, then what would have been the scenario?
In Eldridge, in Stockman, there was a government policy and program, and they were not. They were implementing. Charter doesn't apply.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. What happened in a real picture? What happened in a real picture? Right after 1 year, when hospital court declared hospital Douglas hospital which was okay, Eldridge Hospital was bound by the charter. Right after the Eldridge Hospital, there was a one case for Stockman. So Stockman was the person name. So Stockman said, okay, why, if Eldridge Hospital is bound by the charter, why not Stockman is not bound by the charter? So judges said, you know what, Eldridge was bound by the charter. Right after next year, Stockman was not bound by the charter. So judges told to the guy, his name was Stockman, you know what, because there was a government policy and program, they were not implementing that policy and program. That's why they are bound by the charter, right? But in Stockman, they are implementing that policy and program. For example, I'm owner of the house. My basement is, there was a government policy and program. Before I'm going to rent it out, my basement to the third party in a commercial level, I have to make 2 exit. But in a given scenario, only 1 exit. My house is a private body, but charter apply to Aamer house because based on is government policy and program. But your basement is same thing. Before you're gonna rent it out, there was 2 exit. In your condition, you are not bound by the charter. Same thing. He is owner of the house. He is not bound by the charter because there was government policy and program, and you are implementing that government policy and program. Same as Stockman. There was a deaf person policy, and they were implementing that policy and program. Charter doesn't apply. But in my scenario, Stockman or only 1 exit. You got it, my point. Computer guys, you got it?
So Eldridge, it didn't apply because it was a
Yes, sir.
violation.
Yeah.
Whereas in Stockman,
Yeah.
it did apply because
Yes.
it's no violation
Yes.
because they followed the procedure.
Exactly.
Sir, charter gonna apply only if there is a violation of the government policy, or you can apply the whole hospital.
Yes.
Just the government policy.
Yes. First, charter apply to exclusively. Charter apply to these bodies. If you will see, we're gonna solve the exam question. These exam questions are here. I have exam question here. See, who is making a law? Ontario government or Ontario. We're gonna solve the exam question. Don't worry about it. Okay. Apart from that, one exception is substantial degree of government control. Mean I have 5 executive. This is my private office. We have 5 executive. 3 out of 5 are appointed by the federal government, appointed by the provincial government, appointed by the governor in council, federal cabinet, appointed by the lieutenant governor in council, which shows that substantial degree of government involvement. As per Douglas, with case reference.
Sir, it says that in Douglas versus Douglas, the main thing is that the government involvement should be there for substantial degree.
Yeah, because if you're gonna read 21, all 21 people are appointed governor in council. Can you see?
Yes, yes. So,
Yes.
So if suppose in Stockman the charter was not applied, that means they were implementing the government policy. So that was also made by government. So indirectly, wasn't government involved in the policy making and Stockman hospital?
No. I'm just so first step is very good. Second step, okay, just okay. I'll explain. Okay. Okay. Then at the end, in Stockman, I'm in Stockman.